here we are, we have a new podcast. We have Keith May here, one of our XForces Enterprise beneficiaries, to talk a little bit about his journey. So Keith, we first met when, and in fact you first got introduced to XForces Enterprise through the Career Transition Partnership. How did that all happen? How did you find out about us?
Yeah, so I was doing the CCPA Career Transition Partnership, did the 3-day course, and it all focusing on going out and getting employment, and I'd already decided I wanted to set up my own business.
Yeah.
So one of the things I said is there's a 1-day course to go into, which to my mind it was quite good because it got me a day off work, which was one of the bonuses. But I went on to the course with an open mind, really to see how, if the business I was starting, if I was doing it the right way, and if there was anything that I'd missed. I went on the 1-day course and it was really good. There was a mix of people in the room. Everyone was doing different things. The instructor, I can't remember his name, but he said, "Oh,
Roger."
Yeah, that was it. Yes." He said, "Oh, yeah. So you're setting up an accountancy firm?" "Yeah, I'll do that." "Oh, right. So this afternoon we're going to the finances. Are we picking your brain?" I must admit,
that's Roger trying to get out of doing any delivery.
It was really good. It made me think about what I was actually doing, because we were sitting there. Is this that? Yeah, I think so. Yeah, because I wasn't actually practicing at the time. I got a rough idea of the accountancy world. I was a qualified accountant, but not in practice. So it was really good and really focused my mind on what I really needed to know to help people coming forward.
So that's really interesting because you'd already made that decision. You'd already started a bit of that journey. Yeah. And do you remember? I mean, really putting you on the spot, Keith, here. But do you remember at any point of that day that you thought, you know what, I wish I'd knew that before?
I think it was in the afternoon when we were going through the finances, and which is my bread and butter nowadays. And it was like, I wish I'd known all the ins and outs beforehand, because I set up as a sole trader, which is just myself. And there were other things. Maybe a limited company might have been different. Maybe if I'm looking to employ people in the future, getting all these bits and pieces in place. And there was a few websites that they gave me the information for, which can help me get my name out there. And I wish I'd known that before I went on there. I'd already done my business plan and everything like that. I'm in quite a good situation because my dad is an ex-accountant.
Okay.
So whenever I've got any accountancy type problems, I go to him and say, right, what do I need to do? What about this? And he bounce it back to me. But it was more about the process of setting up a business and things like that that really helped.
So when you were serving, can you just remind me, where were you serving and for how long?
So I did 22 years, got out at just after my 22-year point, and I started as a military clerk in the Adjutant General's Corps, and then at about my 16-year point, I qualified as a chartered management accountant and transferred across as a management accountant for my final 6 years. And at that point I was serving in London, PJHQ, JFC.
Brilliant.
I served my last posting was with the engineers, 170 engineers in Chilwell.
You've actually made me think of something here which I think is really important, and I had the privilege of interviewing Colonel Debs Taylor previously, and she spoke about enabling people. Now, you've just mentioned that you qualified whilst you were serving. I mean, that's tremendous, because there's not that many careers that you can go into and then have the opportunity to actually continue that career development in such a way. So can you just tell me why that was important, but why that still is important, because people don't really sometimes know that.
It's getting the qualification, management accountant qualification, is something that's open to everyone in the army. No matter, there's certain ranks you have to be. So I think they changed it, and it's probably changed now. So I don't want to. I've been out for a year, so I don't want to.
At that time.
At that time, so I was a sergeant, recommended for staff sergeant. So I went on the course. 3-year course, 4-year course to get qualified, and now I'm qualified as a chartered management accountant, which it can take 5-6 years in Civvy Street to get done, and it costs a fortune. Whereas the army paid for it for me, put me through the course, got me the qualification, which means that I can now practice as an accountant in civil street.
Excellent. It just sort of, I mean, it just makes, I know from my perspective, it just makes me feel like, you know, it's about caring and nurturing. And also, I think that's something that, you know, when from some people I've spoken to, you sort of lose sight of that, or the outside world doesn't really recognise as much how much is done while still in service. And I think that's a great one to pull out, because I hadn't really thought about that before when we were doing this interview. Now, I remember we asked you to come along to do a keynote and be part of a panel, and that was probably about the first time when we met.
I think it was, it was the first time. It was the 5th birthday, and it was. I think that was a brilliant experience for me, because the first time I think I was either still serving or just about to get out, so I was probably on terminal leave at the time, and the first time I actually sat in front of people and started talking about myself, and it reminded me that I got the confidence to go out and talk to people and about me and my job.
Let's just put this into perspective, right? Because yes, you're right. That was what a great opportunity to do that. That was at the London Stock Exchange.
I was,
so well done you.
Just rolls off the tongue. We're at Stock Exchange.
So, and the important part of mentioning that is that you came over to me and we had a chat. And I think this is where the importance of the armed forces and people like yourself really shines through, because you came back and said, you know, you guys have helped me, but is there anything that I can do to help you? And, you know, never wanting to miss an opportunity, I said, well, actually, yes, there is. Why don't you come and talk to some of our, be a keynote speaker and come and talk to some of our other beneficiaries. And something that you did, and you did it amazingly well, was to meet with the Widows Associations and the Army Widows. So can you tell me a little bit about how that worked, because that became full circle for you then afterwards?
It did, yeah. We were at the birthday, and afterwards having a drink and chat with people, as you do, and Eileen came up to me and said, thanks for having a chat and everything about
and Irene from
the Army Widows Association.
Great. Just wanted to get that in.
Yeah, she came up to me and said, well, thanks for everything you're doing. We'd like you to see if you can come and have a chat with us to see if there's anything you can do to help us. So I went and had a chat, and now I'm doing their independent examination, and I did their accounts for them last year. I was actually up here in their building for the last trustees meeting. So it's really good, and it's great. It's like I turned around to my wife, I went home and I said, well, I've been to the birthday, and I said, this lady came up to talk to me. I said, oh right, yeah. I said, yeah, she's doing it for the Army Widows Association. She went, oh right, yeah. She said, you know what, anything you can do to help them, just do it. And that's for my wife. And so we went out to their AGM and last year, and it was you know, anything we can do to help the widows and anyone else in the armed forces and the veteran community. I've signed the covenant. The covenants. Did that a couple of weeks ago. I've got the approval for that come through.
Well, the MOD will love you for that, because it's the small businesses, and you know, whilst you're helping others as well, you know, if it's in their DNA, do tell them about the covenant, because it's small businesses that actually are the ones that are the hardest to reach around, and understanding that this is even there. So that's really cool.
I'm doing that one. I'm part of 4 Networking, and so whenever I'm doing my 42nd, since I've signed the Armed Forces Covenant. Anyone else interested, have a chat with me about it. So I'm trying to get it out there, and it's surprising how many ex-forces people there are that come to these things. So I always bang the drum for ex-forces, I should say veterans. I bang forces for you guys and put them through to DAX. See if they can help.
So DAX is then that's a really nice segue into DAX, because DAX is our mentoring manager, and he is the go-to person to start to connect other people in the community of not just ex-forces enterprise, but beyond that as well. Now, we love you so much that when we have a query and there are some of our businesses that now need support, we starting to provide opportunities back to you as well.
That's right, yeah.
And I think that is quite an important part of it, because it's one thing setting up, it's one thing having funding for the ones that need it, but it's another thing. The thing that is so important is client acquisition. So you guys being able to connect each other to opportunities is so important.
Yeah.
And how's that working for you?
Yeah, it's brilliant. I mean, I get a phone call every so often from Dax or an email saying, "Hi Keith, how's it going? Are you looking for any more clients?" And I always go, "Yeah," as you do. And then I get a phone call or an email from someone saying, "I'm after an accountant. I don't really know what to do. I don't know what's going on." So I've got clients now all over the country, from down in Cornwall to Newcastle, Northumberland area, and a lot of them come from XForces. And what they need is they just need someone to be able to talk to them in layman's terms. And being ex-army, you speak to the ex-army the same way. You know, you don't sugarcoat it when you're talking to them. You say, "What are you doing, you idiot?" and things like that. You know? And that goes both ways. They tell me, "What are you doing, you idiot?"
Oh, bless them. That's the camaraderie I think is so special about the armed forces.
It is.
And you know, and it's another nice point to make, because you know, this sense of belonging is the whole essence of XForces Enterprise. And you know, if we can capture that, and that comes with you guys creating, guys, girls, ladies, men, you guys creating that environment, so that these ecosystems are starting to develop of your own and stuff as well, which I think is really, really important.
It is, yeah, because it's very lonely, especially working for yourself. And I work in my house, in the office in my house, so the only time I see people is when I go out and see clients, apart from my wife and my daughter. That's still people. But I go out and see the clients, and to be able to ring up and be back as part of the camaraderie from the armed forces, it's very important.
How long has it been since you've left? I know you mentioned it very briefly.
So I handed in my kit on end of July 2018. And I formally got out 1st of December last year. So it's been about 18 months.
Okay. And what's been the hardest part of that transition, do you think? Especially running your own business.
Yeah, it's going from being someone, like I was a warrant officer. Yeah. So you go from someone who people tend to listen to, and you say, "Do that," expect the junior to do that, and they go and do it. Yeah. To clients, "What, can I have this?" Yeah. It's 6 weeks later. Yeah, can I have it? No, I really, really need it. Yeah. And it's going to that. Yeah. And it's also not losing, but being apart from the camaraderie and having the team around you. Yeah. I mean, my last posting was working in the project management office with engineers, and you got a team around you, so there was always someone there. Yes. Whereas now it's, I get up, I go to my office, it's me. If I don't have to deal with a client, or if I'm not actually talking to a client, it's just me and the radio on in the background. Yeah. So and
that's, you know, I know this is where the start of this piece of the conversation came, and it goes back to, you know, the whole XForces community, XForces Enterprise community, should we say, is about that sense of belonging and being able to provide that. Now, there's something called the military and business networking. Have you come across that yet?
I haven't as yet. Okay. No.
Great, because that, and I can talk about it, and it's you know it's something that you should get involved in. So the military and business is a networking event, which we do across the country. There's 16 ambassadors being onboarded across the country, and the whole purpose for those gigs is to bring the military together to do what, you know, to talk about network, to talk about a subject, and basically some peer-to-peer knowledge exchange. So that might be something as well, Keith, that I think is really quite important for you to plug into, because that's all about the camaraderie and creating something. And as that grows, so we were very fortunate that we had the Royal British Legion support us with that and help us map where we were going to have them. So we've sort of mirrored their pop-in centres across the UK. So it actually works quite well, and it'd be really great for you to be plugged into that and also to share some of the experiences, because clearly you're the expert on finance, accounting, and others will have their specialism in different areas, and we're basically trying to build that so that you guys can do that without us being there.
Yeah.
So it's still, you know, you're part of the family. It's your business now. You know, XF is also part of you, and you know, and very much you part of us as well. So that's something worth considering moving forward. Now I've got a $64 million question to ask you, and that is, if there was a magic wand and we could, you know, this is gonna go places and people will be listening to it wherever. If you had a request, and I had a magic wand, what would that request be?
Ooh, I was thinking about that. It's like, do you want me for my business?
Both.
For personal life?
Right, back open up my hole.
Yeah. So I think it'd be, in my personal life, it'd be for my family to be supported.
Yeah.
Whatever happens, when my wife's ill, so it'd be for her to get better, so that she could do the things that I know she wants to do, but she can't do because she's physically unable to do. So that'd be in personal life. I think in the business, it'd be to have the clients come in and to give me the information that I want, and that I need, when I need it, and then I can do the service that they expect, rather than give me the information or part of the information or not giving me the information. That'd be what I'd like, an ideal client. Not that my clients don't do that, 99% of them do, but it's just a 1% that ends up taking the 80% of the time.
So maybe one of the things that we can do is to help you to help them, or the only small percentage that they may be, in terms of just walking through a bit of a process and stuff. And I'll tell you why I say that, because one of our other amazing beneficiaries is Lee Harris-Hamer. Do you remember Lee Harris-Hamer? He does the cleaning company, White Horse. Young kid, I say young kid, young guy. He's only like 26, 27, and he's got as many employees as he has years behind him. But one of the things that Lee struggled with was how to put in place having some time off without having to be on call. And we walked through that process, and we actually created a process for him. Now he has adopted, and the cheeky little mite now rings me up and said, have you had a holiday? Because you made me have holidays. Anyway, putting that to one side, it would be great to talk to you about how do we actually support you to support your clients, so that the information is coming, you know, let's just brainstorm that a little bit, because we might come up with a few ideas on that. So we can do that with you directly. And I guess there's, which location are you based?
I'm based in Skegness on the East Coast in Lincolnshire.
And does it really matter where your clients are?
No.
Okay.
Everything's in the cloud.
Great. So quite frankly, we can have a few more clients for Keith. That would be amazing. So I will do a little bit, and I really hope your wife gets much better. So you know. So, and thank you for sharing that as well.
Fine,
and that's the thing. It's like having a big brother. You might say I'm being cheeky and I'm the big sister, but hey. So on final words, Keith, is there anything else that you'd like to say?
I think just to everyone out there that owns your own business, just remember you're not alone. Even though you think you're alone, you're not. There's people who can help you. There's people with different specialities that can take some of the load off you. And don't forget, like you just said, you need to take time off. Because if you don't take time off, you'll end up crashing and burning, and that doesn't, in fact, that hurts your business. I know I got forced to take a week off a couple of weeks ago and went to Scotland for a week. If I hadn't done that, I came back with a completely different mindset, let's put it that way. But just remember, you're not on your own, and there's people who can help. Whatever you need.
And that was Keith May, one of our amazing beneficiaries, from out of service straight into his own business. And you know what? He gives his time, and what happened with that, it came back with business opportunities for him as well. So the virtuous circle of success. There's something that I would like to just mention as well, because by the time this podcast goes out, and fingers crossed, we will have our portal, our platform that actually brings together peer-to-peer networking virtually, lots of resources on this platform. But one of the things that you'll be able to do, Keith, is also support that with some of your knowledge, being a chartered accountant, with a little bit of snippets and things like that. So I think that would be amazing. As long as, first of all, as you know, I would always say, you know, if you're volunteering to do something, even if it's putting some stuff out there, you know, you've got to watch how much time that's going to take. But there's some things that you'll be able to do and help. You're right, at the moment you're helping one or two of the other beneficiaries, and you've helped the Army Widows Association, which is absolutely amazing. But actually you'll be able to reach so many other armed forces people in business, ex-forces, enterprise, community, and it would be great to have you on this platform.
Yeah, that'd be brilliant. Yeah, one of the questions I get asked a lot, probably going into technical things, is by people who's just set up a limited company, want to know, how do I get paid?
Yeah.
If I could get that out to everyone in the various different ways they can do it, that'd be brilliant.
That would be amazing. And you know who's going to love you for that as well is Dax.
Yeah.
So he will absolutely adore you to do that. So let's make that happen. It would be great to have you as one of the experts on the platform.
Yeah.